So if we're talking about the mandatory disclosure rules or the multilateral instrument, what are some of the key takeaways from your perspective that clients should focus on?
Okay, so for me, one clear takeaway is despite the fact that neither the MLI nor DAC 6 are part of US law, they really affect US corporations. And to imagine that they don't, through all the business that you do overseas, through transaction flows, there's an interaction here with tax reform. These things are really important to take into account. And as I say, to imagine that simply because the US isn't part of them means they don't matter is wrong, dead wrong.
Maybe I'll add to that. Despite the fact that there is lots of uncertainty around both of them, so DAC 6 is not reportable until 2020, it's still applicable. So it's important to understand the implication of both DAC 6 as well as the MLI on each company's specific facts and circumstances, understanding that DAC 6 is already there, even though we don't have specific legislation. Companies need to understand how that impacts that footprint in Europe, how it impacts their transactions, as well as understanding how they will address that. The last thing I will say on both of them as well, aligning planning, tax planning with business operation is always the best strategy. Yes, there is more things to report. It doesn't mean that these are transactions that shouldn't take place. So there is a difference between reporting and having documentation to support the transaction that is in place.
Yeah, and perhaps to conclude, but what I like to do and take away from these topics and many other topics out there is to take that holistic approach, to do that one step back, look at your structure, look at your transaction flows, look at all the things changing around the world, and realize that everything is connected with each other, that you cannot address one topic on its own, leaving aside others, or postponing one topic. Everything is changing, everything is having effect and interacts with each other and at the same time. And yes, we are swamped with US tax reform, regs coming out, EU rules changing, unilateral changes all over the world, but you really need to do that one step back, consider that bigger perspective and holistic view, make that bigger plan. What's our company look like, both from an organization point of view, a structural point of view, a business point of view, going forward, and then try to solve that puzzle and make your timeline in putting that puzzle together.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.